Trade partner for Browns, Shedeur, Sanders emerges after week. 1. The market for Cleveland Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders is growing, even though 1 week of the NFL season is in the books, and he has yet to play a snap. Joe Flacco threw 2 interceptions, though both hit Browns wide receivers first and then landed in the hands of the Cincinnati Bengals defense. Otherwise, Flacco completed 31 of 43 passes, 31 of 45 total on the day, for 290 yards and a touchdown. A missed field goal and a missed extra point contributed to a 1-point defeat on Sunday, September 7th. And the loss contributed to an online swell of support for the Miami Dolphins to pursue a trade for Sanders after the Indianapolis Colts bested Miami by a score of 33-8. The Dolphins yanked starting QB Tua Tagovailoa from the game after a 14 of 23 performance that accounted for 114 yards, 1 TD, and 2 INTs. Backup quarterback Zach Wilson, a former number 2 overall pick of the New York Jets, who is now on his 3rd NFL team in 5 seasons, went 5 of 8 for 32 yards passing. Also on Miami's roster is Quinn Ewers, a 7th-round draft pick in April out of Texas. Things looked promising for Tagovailoa after the 2023 season, but he struggled a season ago and isn't off to a great start in 2025. Because of that, Dolphins fans called for Miami to trade for Cleveland Browns rookie quarterback Shedeur Sanders, Andrew Peters of Bleacher Report wrote Sunday. Sanders, who was widely expected to be a first-round pick but was taken in the 5th round, is currently the 3rd-string quarterback on the Browns' depth chart, so he likely won't get the chance to prove himself in Cleveland anytime soon. Dolphins unlikely to bail on Tua Tagovailoa. Early in season, despite Miami bailing on Tagovailoa in their season-opening blowout loss, the Dolphins almost certainly aren't ready to move on from their starting quarterback ahead of Week 2, Tagovailoa, inked a 4-year contract extension worth $212.4 million in July 2024, which kicked in the season and carries through the 2028 campaign. That said, Bill Simmons of The Ringer has mentioned Miami head coach Mike McDaniel as one of his top candidates for first coach fired of the 2025 season. If Simmons and others who have made similar observations are correct, McDaniel could move away from Tagovailoa at some point this year out of self-preservation. If that happens, the Browns potentially have a player in Sanders that a team like the Dolphins might want. Browns more likely to keep Shedeur Sanders through rookie year than trade. Him ahead of deadline Cleveland is also unlikely to move either of its rookie quarterbacks anytime soon. Flacco played well enough in Week 1 that there is little chance the Browns will move away from him in the near future. That said, the schedule includes 5 straight games against 2024 playoff teams in Weeks 2-6. If he does struggle and end up sidelined at some point, the Browns will make that call in favor of Gabriel, who earned the QB2 spot during the preseason. As such, Cleveland probably won't get to see Sanders much, if at all, ahead of the early November trade deadline. Given that, it is difficult to imagine the Browns dealing Sanders during the 2025 campaign, even if they could get something solid in return for him. But injuries and poor play have already begun to create a market for Sanders and other QBs standing on sidelines around the league, and that market should only grow in the weeks and months to come. Commanders QB Jaden Daniels pops up on injury. Report with wrist issue on Sunday. The Washington Commanders picked up a comfortable 21-6 win over the divisional rival New York Giants to move to 1-0 on the young 2025 NFL season. It wasn't the most electric day for Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels in the first game of his 2nd season in the NFL, but he still looked poised and in control against a Giants defense that is expected to be a solid unit this year. Unfortunately, Daniels didn't make it through the game unscathed, as he appeared on the Commanders' official team injury report that was released on Monday afternoon. The Tajada Commanders listed QB Jaden Daniels on the injury report with a right wrist injury, reported Ari Mirov of the 33rd team on X, formerly Twitter. However, Mirov also clarified that the team says he would have been a full participant today if there had been practice. The last thing the Commanders need is their franchise player getting injured at this early juncture of the season, and so it makes sense that they are being extra cautious by placing him on the injury report, even on a day in which no practice occurred. The Commanders are looking at a short week heading into the 2nd game of the season, as they will take on the Green Bay Packers on Thursday evening to kick off Week 2. The Packers got off to an excellent start to their 2025 season with Micah Parsons in the mix, knocking off the reigning NFC North champion Detroit Lions in easy fashion on Sunday afternoon. Parsons had a sack in that game, and the Commanders and head coach Dan Quinn, who coached Parsons when he was the Dallas Cowboys defensive coordinator, will likely have some sleepless nights this week as they try to think of ways to buy Daniels as much time in the pocket as possible